The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to another segment of Steer the Line, where we make you guys a better. I am Christian Giordani, your host and analytics expert. Alongside of me, we have Jeremy James, our fantasy football expert, and Loud Esmond, our professional sports handicapper. How are we already in week 6, guys? That just seemed to be the fastest 6 weeks of my life.
Wow.
Flies by, man.
Although we are in a stretch that started a little over a week ago of 50 straight days with football. I know Jeremy doesn't care about college football, but college football is going to play on Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday nights, all the way through Thanksgiving weekend. And so there is football on every night until Thanksgiving weekend. So, and then you get college bowl season in the playoffs. So happy.
That sounds great. All right, guys, let's hop right into our NFL news. The Denver Broncos are set to release Frank Clark. Yeah. Not that great of a season he had for Denver. 2 total tackles in 2 games. If he goes to a contender, I think it's a great piece. Anyone you think that would probably pick him up? Jeremy.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance he just goes right back over to where he was over at Kansas City. They could use his help, I mean, yeah, he hasn't looked great the last season or so, but he's still got some juice in him. He's only 30 years old, and if he's not dependent on to be the guy, if he's a piece of a defense, I think he's still got something left. And Kansas City seems like a natural spot for him to land in.
Yeah, a guy who was a Pro Bowler only 2 years ago. His only 3 Pro Bowl seasons were in Kansas City. Loud, how possible is it for Frank Clark to have a reunion back in Kansas City? Or is he most likely to step outside and go to a guy like San Francisco, Miami, or Buffalo?
Well, it depends on whether, who's got the money to pay him and who's got the need. Kansas City's defense looks really good without him. So I don't know if they necessarily have the need. I'd be looking for a team that and just off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody who absolutely needs a defensive end right now, who is a contender who has the money. So that's the extent of my knowledge on this one.
He may not get a contender. He may, if he wants to play this season, he just may have to follow the money, which means, a team that needs some defensive help like Chicago or maybe even Las Vegas could be giving him a call.
And the bigger story for me, the bigger story for me in this is why are players fleeing Denver? Randy Gregory, I'm out. Well, no, but it's the players themselves that need to be released. I want to go somewhere else. Why is that happening, Jeremy?
Well, I think, Frank Clark's case, he wasn't getting the playing time. He wasn't a right fit for that defense. Randy Gregory, I think he wasn't fitting in. I don't think he was effective there. And there's, a lot of rumors about Denver, like I said, having a bit of a fire sale as we head towards, the trade deadline. I've heard both of their top receivers are being floated out there as trade bait. So I don't know exactly what they're doing. Blowing it up, starting over.
Yeah, I think Denver is blowing it up. They know they're not going to get out of that Russell Wilson contract. No one's going to trade for him. But guys like Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton are on the trade block. And there are only 2 years left on their deals. And I believe Courtland Sutton has 1 year left.
Yeah, Russell Wilson is going to be Denver's Jamarcus Russell. Sitting on a couch somewhere getting paid $30 million a year.
Yeah, most likely what Denver would do if they want to move on from Wilson, they would cut him and try to work out a deferred contract, a lot how the Mets did with whoever's slipping my name, where they pay him a certain amount of money for a certain amount of years, like how the Mets still pay, again, forgetting his name, a guy $1 million every year all the way till 2047, which baffles me. So
That's
it's
insane.
they're going to look to try to give him a deferred contract and try to rebuild as best they can. But guys like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Suttons, and Patrick Surtains are not going to be on this team, most likely by this trade deadline or by the end of this season. Who on this team is most likely gone first? Jeremy.
I mean, if you're talking about a trade, I mean, the person with probably the most value would be Jerry Jeudy. He's a first-round pick. He's still young, and I'm sure someone thinks they can plug him into their offense and get even more out of him. I don't know who needs a wide receiver bad enough to trade for one right now like that, but maybe there is a contender that thinks he's a good piece.
You know what's crazy? We're like a little more than a year removed from all of us agreeing the AFC West was the best division in football. Remember that?
The whole NFL world.
I remember that.
The same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Kansas City, the Chargers, the Raiders with the new coach, Russell Wilson. Remember, people were saying Denver was going to the Super Bowl with Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
there's people that doubled down and said they were going to win the division this year on like NFL and ESPN. So people bought into Wilson. He just doesn't have it anymore.
No, it's far gone, and it's very unlikely he's getting traded. But if a team was desperate enough, who would pick up Russell Wilson loud?
The Houston Gamblers in the USFL.
Yeah, that's about it. I think this is his last stop.
Yep.
The way they gave up a huge contract for him and all the trade, everything they gave up to get him have him not produce. There's not another team that's going to think, oh, well, we'll get something out of him now. I think Denver's his last stop in the NFL.
A few more guys who are on the trading block as well. Your Las Vegas Raiders, Davante Adams, name has been stirring around a lot of trade rumors. Does he get traded or does he stay out and work it out with the Las Vegas Raiders, Jeremy?
No, I don't think he gets traded. I don't think they're going to be looking to get rid of too many people. Honestly, I think they're going to be looking to bring some guys in if they can. They've been hunting for defensive tackle or defensive end for a couple of weeks already now. Trying to do a player-for-player trade. The guy I think that will be gone by the trade deadline is Hunter Renfrow. He still has plenty to offer, but he's, for whatever reason, not part of the plans. Dumb enough as it is. I mean, the guy's amazing.
New England. Hunter
Yeah.
Renfrow to the Patriots.
I could see it happening. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think Hunter is the guy that's going to be gone. I don't think Davante leaves. I think he's going to stick it out. I don't think there's really anybody else major that they're going to move on from because after that win last week, they're feeling themselves a little.
Davante Adams, though, if he stays with the Raiders, he's going to be the Mike Trout of the NFL, the greatest player that you will never see in the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be a struggle.
Yeah. All right.
So that's a trade that's already happened. Just to go through real quick, the Rams trade their wide receiver Van Jefferson for a 2025 and a 2025 6th and 5th round pick swap. I think it's a good pickup for Atlanta. I'm sorry. I think it's a good pickup for Atlanta. A guy who's in his prime, 27, 28 years old, who's been a real solid number 3 guy who can be a number 2 guy on a championship team. We saw he stepped up in the 2021 playoffs. Your guys' opinion on this trade? I know it's very minuscule for you guys, but for me, it's huge because I'm a Rams fan.
No, from a fantasy football aspect, what got me about this trade is Kyle Pitts goes out, has the most catches he's had in like 2 years, and has his best game. So what do? They bring in someone else to take passes away from Kyle Pitts yet again. So I don't know what they're doing over there in Atlanta. Their defense is great. Their offense is kind of kooky.
All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps up our NFL news / trade talks. Now let's head into
just one news item. The Kittle kerfuffle. So George Kittle's on the sideline during the game between Dallas and it wasn't really a game. There was one team that was a professional football team, and then there was a Pee Wee Pop Warner team on the other side. And they got their ass handed to him. And Kittle had a T-shirt underneath his jersey
saying F them Cowboys.
that said F you something Dallas. And he's been fined $13,000 by the NFL. I think well worth it because that's like fining Christian like $13.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it seeing George Kittle like that. It's a fine that he's just going to shrug off, but real great news. We know we're a betting show. We're going to give you guys our best bets, but coming up now is our Wonder Dog segment.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
So for those of you who do not know, our Wonder Dog segment is we give you our best underdog for the
All right,
week
who you starting with, Christian?
against the spread. Loud, I'll let you go first.
I'm going to go Bears-Vikings. I'm going to go Bears-Vikings. The Bears seem to have figured out they can't turn their quarterback into a normal pocket passer, and they need to let him run the ball, do RPOs, and they found some success doing that. The Vikings just suck all the way around. They're favored in this game. I love the Bears to upset the Vikings here.
Jeremy, your opinions?
Yeah, I could see the Vikings winning that game. I know the Bears' offenses, looked better, but these are two teams that are just kind of hanging out in the NFC North, just playing some games. So yeah, this could go either way, but I don't know. It's going to be tough go for the Vikings without Justin Jefferson for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough. Their offense is going to diminish. I don't. Who's their Adam? No, Adam Thielen's not even their wide receiver number 2 anymore.
Jordan Addison, their
Jordan
rookie,
Addison,
is their number 2 guy, and then they got KJ Hamler, who's been there for a few years, now going to be the number 2. So, or not KJ Hamler, I'm sorry. Now I can't remember. It's a something last name. There's not KJ Hamler. I can't remember who it is now, but they got a couple of guys who could step in, but no one like Justin Jefferson.
Exactly. No one like the number 1 guy in the league. I'm a toss up on this game as well. These are two dysfunctioning teams right now. Vikings have no defense. The Bears can't seem to score any points against a legit defense as well. So it's two bad teams just playing out each other. My Wonder Dog pick for this week is the Tennessee Titans versus the Baltimore Ravens with a 4.5 point spread.
I leaned heavily towards that. Yeah.
Baltimore had a terrible game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 drop passes that could have went for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. Biggest blunder. What happens when Baltimore Ravens receivers put on that jersey? Do they just automatically start dropping balls? Why does every Baltimore Ravens receiver suck since I've ever been born?
No. Lamar Jackson is the reason he doesn't pass the ball.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from this last week. I saw these little frames, man, and he's making these picture-perfect passes, and they just dropped every single one of them. This was the worst receiving game I've ever seen in my life. And did you guys see Matt Canada's reaction after that game-winning touchdown? That looks like a guy who wants to get fired.
I don't think I caught that, but I hear you. I feel you.
Yeah, so Tennessee against the Ravens. Tennessee has been running really well with the ball. Derrick Henry hasn't been 100% like how he has been the last 3 years, but I still think it's enough to go over Baltimore. That is my own Wonder Dog pick of this week. Jeremy, yours?
I'm going to go Colts Jaguars. I know the Colts having to start Gardner Minshew, but, it's going to be week number 2 for having, full set of running backs again. And the Jaguars, I'm just not all that convinced. I know they had a good game and beat Buffalo, but, shenanigans happen when teams have to go all the way to London to play a game. So, I'm still not a big believer in the Jaguars right now, the way they've started the season. I need to see more from them. They could easily win this game, but it's a division game. The Colts are surprising the way they're playing, especially on defense. So I think the Colts could actually pull that one out.
I don't hate this pick. I would like it a lot more if Anthony Richardson was in the lineup.
Well, me too. He was my fantasy quarterback, so
Yeah. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor's playing. Another thing we kind of just skimmed over. Jonathan Taylor signed an extension with the Indianapolis Colts for the next 4 years, around $51 million. Great pickup for Jonathan Taylor, a contract that I did not think he was going to get, especially in Indianapolis. Loud, are you happy? Are you upset? Do you not care that Jonathan Taylor's staying for a long time in Indianapolis?
No, good for him. I think there are, yes, running backs are interchangeable except for the really special running backs. And he's a really special running back, just like Josh Jacobs, just like Saquon Barkley, just like a few others. Christian McCaffrey is not just a guy, right? I mean, he may be a running back, but he deserves to get paid more money because he's just better than everybody else.
He is the best in the league, in my opinion. I believe that wraps up our Wonder Dog segment of this week. Jeremy, any fantasy picks, any fantasy start sits you want to give out this week?
The only thing I can really think of right now is you really got to start watching that waiver wire and your bench. A lot of injuries right now, along with buys going on. And it was one in particular that was announced just a couple hours ago. Khalil Herbert was been put on IR in Chicago. So he's out for the next 4 weeks. Rashawn Johnson, the rookie backup, is still in concussion protocol, so he's out this week. So for fantasy-wise, if you need a running back or number 2 guy, maybe someone in the flex, Deontay Foreman may still be available in your league, especially in deeper leagues. People have been running out and getting him since this information came out, but he is going to be starting for the Bears against Minnesota this week, and he's going to get a majority of the carries.
All right, guys, that's Jeremy's expert fantasy advice right there. Loud, I know you got some college bets and some NFL bets you want to get out of the way, so I'll let you go on to them. I think we lost Mr. Loud Esmond, which makes us move on to our NFL best picks of the week. Jeremy, do you have a pick for us this week?
No, I think we got Loud back.
Oh, we got him back?
He's
yes, I'm back.
All
Okay,
right, there
great.
we go.
So
right.
my bet of the week was 49. My bet of the week was 49ers minus 3.5 at the Browns. By Wednesday, it was 49ers minus 7. It's now 49ers minus 11. So it kind of blew that up. I had Kansas City minus 10, and I had the under 47, so I won that. Now I'm sort of at a loss as to what my best bet of the week would be, because it was the 49ers when that line first opened at 3.5. I ran to the casino on Wednesday morning in Washington State where I do my betting, and by the time I got there, it had moved from 5.5 to 7 in a couple of hours. That line is now Browns minus 11 because Deshaun Jackson is not playing in that game. And here's what's weird. He was cleared to play 2 weeks ago and decided not to play. Physically, he's cleared by the medical staff. He has not practiced all this week, and he has been declared out. And the rookie, who threw 3 interceptions the last time he took the field for the Browns, is going to start at quarterback. That's why this line has ballooned to 11.
He's not starting at quarterback.
I loved it at 3 minutes. What?
He's not starting at quarterback. They actually got PJ Walker, who was last in the XFL, who is coming in to start this week. He's been getting all of the reps.
So it's even worse.
It's even worse, pretty much. Yeah, he's been getting the reps all week.
Right. So this, it's either a stay away or go 49ers minus 11. But I'm glad I got it at minus 7. It was my best bet of the week at minus 3.5. My other bet that I really love is Lions -3 at the Buccaneers. I would buy that down to -2.5. Now, Christian, I know you're going to challenge me on this, so go ahead.
No, I actually agree with this. I think the Lions beat the Bucks. I really like the Lions to beat this Bucks, especially by a touchdown. Yeah, they're away in Tampa, but the Lions have been so good this year. Their run game has been insane. I can't see the Buccaneers holding them down. So I got the Lions as well.
So I just
Jeremy?
want to point something out. As much as people think the Lions are all about offense and their defense sucks, they are the 7th best defense in the NFL, allowing 21.4 points per game and 292 yards per game. And the Buccaneers are allowing 318.5 yards per game. So they are better on defense, and they're 8 points better on offense. So the better team here for me is the Lions.
Anybody who thought the Lions weren't playing good defense have not been watching the Lions games this season. I have been because of, fantasy football, of course. Got players there. So I've been watching a lot of Detroit, and their defense is solid. And it looks like one of those defenses where guys are getting it every week. I think this defense is only going to improve and make this team even tougher. I think they're going to run away with the NFC North.
I'm going to throw out Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football information because people focus on those games. That line between the Bills and the Giants is now Bills -14.5. Honestly, Daniel Jones being out and Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback makes me feel more confident in the Giants, not less, because their offensive line is so terrible, and Tyrod Taylor at least has some wheels. Mm-hmm. So that's a stay away game for me now. Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Chargers. It's Chargers +2.5 at most places. I would bite the bullet, buy the half point, and get it to Chargers +3, and I would take the Chargers. Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm not. I completely forgot what the Monday night game was, so I haven't even looked at the whole Cowboys-Chargers thing. I don't know.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know about that game. I kind of think the Cowboys will bounce back a bit.
It's in Chargerland.
It's in Chargerland? Is that what you said?
That's so right.
So you mean it's in Raider Stadium in LA? Gotcha.
You mean every other team's stadium except for the Raiders and for the Rams and Chargers? Yeah.
Right.
I like Dallas in that game. I think they'll bounce back. I think they got a better defense, and the Chargers have been a little less than impressive this season.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jeremy on that one. The Cowboys need a bounce back game. I think this is a beating waiting to happen. The Chargers have not been as good as we thought they were going to be. So Cowboys.
All right. So Sunday Night Football by advice to stay away. Monday Night Football, I like the Chargers plus not 2.5, but +3, which means you're going to have to pay a little bit more for your bet. That's where I'm at. Couple of college football bets real quick. Rutgers -5 at Michigan State. LSU Auburn over 60.5. And the big game tomorrow night, Notre Dame USC. Notre Dame is -140 on the money line. They're -2.5. I don't want anything to do with the points, but I will take Notre Dame on the money line -140.
All right, that's loud. Esmond's expert picks going on right out the way. My pick of the week so far, I'm going against my Los Angeles Rams +7, the Arizona Cardinals to cover that spread, not to win, but to cover. Matthew Stafford has been doing terrible the past 2 years against a man coverage. The Cardinals are the top 5 team that runs man coverage on defense with a successful rate. If Buda Baker is not traded by the end of this week, I like the Cardinals to make it a closer game than what it will be. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, though. The Cardinals defense is not elite as well. Matthew Stafford might not throw the ball as well, but Kyren Williams is going to destroy the Cardinals defensive line. So take the over on Kyron Williams, 64.5 rushing yards as well. Jeremy, pick for the week.
Yeah, I honestly I don't really have a pick of the week at the moment, but I have a question. Do you think Kyler sees the field again in Arizona?
No, I truly
Even
don't.
if he's healthy,
No.
they put him out there.
I think
No.
his time is up.
No.
He's going to be gone by the end of this year. They're just going to sit him out to avoid injury and keep his trade capital up, I believe is the right term. But Kyler will not be playing another game as an Arizona Cardinal. If he does, I will be
Kyler
very shocked.
Murray to Denver. Kyler Murray to the Broncos.
Yeah.
It could happen.
I could see it.
Actually, instead of my pick of the week, I have another question I want to pose to you guys real quick, because this is something we discussed like last year. And something that we kind of agreed was going to happen. But
1 minute.
3 or 4 years from now, the XFL and the USFL have combined.
Yes.
And they're going to combine for starting this spring. What do you guys think about that news?
I love it. I think it's great for spring football. And they're trying to make a deal with the NFL to make it a minor league system for the NFL. If that goes through, that is, I think, is the biggest news in football history of this century.
For God's sake, why is football not played all year round?
It almost will be now once this league goes, because we're going to have enough teams that have to spread out the schedule. It should be a lot of fun. I just hope they keep a lot of the XFL rules and things that they did.
Funness.
Yes, the XFL fun. Extremely fun.
Rock is here saying
exactly.
Kyler Murray's going to the MLB by the end of this year. Thank you,
might.
guys. We have been Steer the Line. We will see you guys for a Week 7 preview.
Go Raiders, go football.
Go Rams.